Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
What happened to Monday? What's this movie?
Yes, we saw. I saw What Happened to Monday. This is a movie that is on streaming right now on Netflix. Now, it's amazing how Willem Dafoe has now had a resurgence of being in mediocre films. Like, I don't know what
this is a late career choice.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what's going on with him, but like he was in Death Note, that was also on Netflix. He was in Murder on the Orient Express, and he was in this movie. This movie.
Noomi Rapace is in this. Glenn Close.
Yes, Noomi Rapace
And Willem Dafoe, who is a shithead.
Rapace.
Rapace. Oh, sorry.
No, I don't know how to pronounce it. Aaron, how do you pronounce Noomi Rapace?
Rape easy.
Rapace?
No idea.
No idea. Nice.
Thank you.
There were a ton of posters for this. It's called something else in Paris. It's,
Yeah, because it's
Seven
kids
Sisters.
jumping over. You see
Seven Sisters. Yeah, she actually plays all seven sisters. So I will give her
Wow.
credit.
Really?
For
She's
that.
a fine actress.
She's a great actress, and that is the one thing that's worth watching the film for, just to watch her
How
performance.
much different
as
does she
Seven.
look as playing each
Well,
sister?
well, that's just it. It was one of those things where it was so forced. It was like each one has to look different with like a different hairstyle, and each one has a different name of the week. That's how you. There's seven sisters. They're each named for a day of the week. So one's a ponytail, long wavy hair, red hair, mid-length
like
hair,
Wednesday,
short hair,
Tuesday.
knit hat. Yep, Saturday, and then platinum blonde. So the premise of the film is that we get overpopulated. It's a sci-fi premise. And what happens is siblings become illegal. You could only have one child. So
It's a documentary on China.
yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a documentary on
This is the
single child policy of China that they've just sort of they've opened up, actually.
This is
That's what I heard.
so this is like there's no resources. We have to cut. You can't. It would be illegal to have a sibling. So
By the way, the first time I went to China, and we would go out to dinner after the show,
China.
and I talk to the Chinese comics or whatever, anyone there, and we'd just making conversation, where you're from, and I would always ask, oh, do you have any brothers and sisters? And everyone would kind of look at me like, what are you, an idiot?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, sorry. They're like, no, we only had one.
So they're hiding in the closet like in this movie.
Okay, so they're all in the
So
closet.
what they have, Willem Dafoe has 7 kids. The mother dies in childbirth. So what he does is he raises them all, and each one goes out on their day of the week. So it looks like it's one person, but it's actually 7.
Oh,
So,
I see.
So that's the premise of the film, and
So let me throw a wrench in that. Shouldn't they all look the same then?
well, that's just it. They all get dressed in the morning to all look the same. Like some of them
okay.
wear wigs, and if one of them has a blemish, then they put the blemish on. But it's
So good. Somebody thought of this contingency.
somebody did
cool.
think of the contingency. Somebody
they-
didn't think of the rest of the plotting or story.
Oh, so
in
they
this
just had a
movie.
decent premise and then stopped.
Yeah. Pretty much what
It's like
happens
Meet
is
the
it,
Dugars, but in movie format.
so
Let's meet the Dugars. I don't know what that is.
It's like that TLC show about the
they had
Mormons.
more kids.
Oh.
Yeah, and this
19
one.
and counting or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, all
like Willem Dafoe was only in it like a couple of scenes. Like he was, you could tell it was like, oh, his name helped get this movie made. But it was also the kind of thing where you could tell it was such a limited budget as far as like a sci-fi movie goes. Like you have futuristic looking buildings, you have futuristic looking cars, but everyone's clothes kind of look like they do now.
Oh.
So there's
clothes
It's
don't.
from
Yeah.
H&M.
Yeah. So it's like
So in the
certain-
future, everyone has to shop at Ross. Everything's a
Right.
couple seasons too
Pretty
old.
much, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's still in sweaters and suits. So the movie
Sweaters and suits.
Yeah,
That's what this movie should be called.
Yeah,
Sweaters and suits.
And occasionally, and then the other place they made everything look futuristic was like the guns. The guns all had like computer readouts, but it wanted to be an action kind of sci-fi movie, and it was also but the action was so weird and lopsided because you have these highly trained special forces that of course are find out about the sisters and they go after them, but they somehow managed to fend a fair amount of them off, so without any military training whatsoever.
Wow,
So
I can't wait to watch this movie.
yeah,
That sounds fantastic. I'm going to
So
watch this back to back with Murder on the Orient Express.
It really had that same feel of like, oh, this probably was a good idea that just got executed really improperly. Now, one thing I will say is that Morton Tildum was attached as the director, but chose The Imitation Game as his next project instead.
Wow,
Now,
good move.
It was an excellent move. However, had he directed this film, I have a feeling it would have been 1,000 times better because he
For
would have
sure.
he would have put a lot of that kind of humanity and also
You'd be like, let's
grounded
get
the
wardrobe
film a
a
little bit
budget,
more.
huh? What are you
Like-
guys doing?
like Glenn Close, she really hams it up, and it's not a good film, but it is free on streaming. So if you want to check it out,
That's why we're talking about
It's
it.
actually doing
yeah.
so bad they're thinking about paying people to watch it.
yes,
They're going to send you a credit or like a gift card.
So-
Thanks for watching, but you have to watch it all the
Yeah.
way through.
So I guess Willem Dafoe is like
You know, like when you
the-
take driver's, when you get a driver's school for a traffic ticket and they make you take it online, but they verify that you watched it all the way. That's
Right.
what this movie would.
Yeah, it really feels like you have to fill out a card at the end. So, I'm glad to see Willem Dafoe working. Noomi Rapace does a fine job as Seven Siblings, but ultimately the movie, like Murder on the Orient Express, falls flat. And the other thing, too, it makes those cardinal mistakes of like a science fiction movie where there's like a big twist reveal at the end, but you don't care because you're not invested in the characters or the story, or the premise has gone nowhere by then. You're like, oh gosh, they're just trying to throw everything at you and hope something will stick, and it doesn't. So it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I think this weekend was just for everyone to go maybe see Thor again or see it for the first time because
Ride shot first. With kitten heads across the